With numerous resorts being built and improved around the world, as well as other experiences, could Universal come back to the United States and build a third resort to it? Not a smaller resort based on a different demographic like Universal Kids, but one similar to their existing ones in Hollywood and Florida. Well, the answer to that is actually yes. It's not just yes, but they have already started, and this area could easily be improved with new additions to their websites hitting at such growth. But before diving into the ways that it could expand in the current offerings in New York region, I should first go over and mention how such a project could succeed in an area and how it has already done so by other competitors, as seen in SeaWorld with their park in Texas, as well as having bigger ones in San Diego and Orlando, as well as Legoland, who recently opened a successful New York location. One thing to note about these parks though is that they are often a smaller scale of the bigger versions that you can find in the Orlando and Hollywood areas that are typically flanked by other big name theme parks, and often seeing increased traffic as a result. Likewise, such parks are not necessarily a destination for you to go and fly out to, however there are some great things to do if you are in that area. Furthermore, once you get to those parks in those areas that are in the smaller form, you'll find that the parks themselves aren't as grand as they are in the bigger areas, often finding one or two big attractions anchored by several smaller ones to help make an attractive park, but not so much where it would cannibalize their other parks. To also help reduce the amount of lost revenue coming to existing parks, as well as making each park attractive in its own right, these parks often have unique additions to them, something that they can't find in the other parks, forcing you to go and visit that park if you want to go and experience all that the company has to offer, as well as making it an enticing destination. When it comes to other destinations for Universal, the United States market is home to two big ones. Home to their initial theme park in Hollywood, California, Universal Hollywood, a park that is both a combination of a living theme park as well as a functioning movie studio. And their Florida theme parks, which contains three. However, these parks also exist as a movie studio on some occasions, but are more focused towards the theme park reign, often having that be the bulk of their revenue. However, there is one location that is not a theme park in the United States, a location that they often frequent and do have a creative office in. This is their New York area, as this location is also home to several experiences, more focused though towards their studio side of things, often being the place of several filmings for some of their shows that they frequently air, like The Tonight Show, as well as The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon and Saturday Night Live, both of which have their own respectable audiences which should come down and see them. In addition to this, there's also a store for Universal guests to go and experience if they're in that area, as well as some seasonal events often being operated in the area as well, like a recent Halloween Horror Nights-like experience based around Jimmy Fallon. One permanent entertainment offering though that Universal does offer in this area to help make more money on their existing studios set up in the area in the Rockefeller Plaza is a NBC studio tour, in which guests are given the opportunity to pay around $50 depending on factors like your age to go experience what the studio in New York City has to offer, seeing a behind the scenes look at some of their favorite shows, as well as getting to see what the production process is to get these shows running and up onto the air, as well as being a part of it with a mock set where you get to go experience and collaborate with other guests to produce your very own show. While this is great on their own right, Universal has shown their desire to increase the revenue for this area that they already own, as well as experimenting with new offerings like The Nightmares starring Jimmy Fallon, which was a 10-minute Halloween Horror Nights-like experience in which guests paid $35 to $45 to go and experience. And while this was just a temporary experience, it does show that Universal does want more of an entertainment option in the area. However, they are often limited by the confined space of New York City. That said, there's nothing stopping them from buying a bigger plot of land located nearby. While this would be physically disconnected From their existing location, it would be a great area to provide bundles and help sell individual attraction tickets in a way that still capitalizes on New York City's tourist market, as well as selling tickets to some of their other experiences in a way which you could apply to different demographics, as well as encouraging sales of several offerings to make it one bigger theme park-like experience. These experiences could be set up on one big location outside of the New York City region in which they currently have their studios-like setup, but it's still farther enough by to have a bus transportation service to it, helping connect the two resorts in a way that still provides a seamless experience. Not all these offerings though need to be on a separate plot of land, and they could also rent out nearby space to Rockefeller Plaza for smaller experiences that they can't fit in such space, like Universal's Great Movie Escape, which could be adapted for a second location in this region. As after all, there are several popular escape room venues in that area, as well as several other popular cities around the world. Likewise, such experience as well as a smaller venue or city walk could be built on this bigger plot of land, as well as with bigger experience-like attractions. For instance, they could build a Universal Kids Resort on this bigger plot of land as just one of the offerings to help encourage families with younger guests to go and experience it, as well as guests in the nearby area, in a way that helps provide an enticing offering, as well as building upon the success and return on investment for the Universal Kids Resort being built in Texas, if this resort does prove to be successful, which I do think it will be. Another option, which depending on the success of Nightmares, could easily be adapted for the New York area, and a bigger, more permanent long-time strategy could be a Halloween Horror Nights Horrors Unleashed experience, something that would be different than their Las Vegas market, but still capitalize on the tourist area of New York, providing them with the same attraction in a different region, but switching up the haunted houses to help increase the return on investment for such houses, as well as making each destination an enticing experience to help encourage locals, as well as some guests to go travel farther distances to go to experience it, similar to some guests going to experience Universal Hollywood in Orlando, as well as some of their other farther resorts worldwide. Another option, which has been traveling around the world and is being improved for a more permanent venue over in Thailand, is the Jurassic World experience. While the details on this are unknown at the moment, such Jurassic offerings have proven successful in various formats, whether it be from traveling venues to more permanent offerings in their theme parks. Likewise, such a permanent venue in Thailand, which provides a theme park-like experience in a smaller market, while still appealing to those older demographics, would be a great way to help build upon the area for not having to spend too much capital in it, but still providing an enticing experience for guests to go and enjoy of all ages. Likewise, such experience could be unique, improving upon a smaller venue with a new unique attraction that encourages guests in the United States to go and explore it. One such ride, which would be a great way to do this, that they do not have in the Hollywood or Orlando parks, will be Jurassic World Adventure, a fantastic dark ride located at Universal Beijing and rumored to be coming to Universal Great Britain. This attraction does a fantastic job of immersing guests into the franchise in a new and unique way that the existing resorts in Hollywood and Orlando don't offer, as well as making it an enticing draw of an attraction for some guests to go and even fly out to New York just to experience that attraction. Offering such an experience in the city area nearby instead of building a proposed second air location that would be bussed over is not something that's out of the question, as Universal has already proven successfully that they can operate such locations outside of their current studio area in New York with their Broadway shows of Wicked and Back to the Future the musical. To also help capitalize on their existing success in the region, as well as the new guests that would be coming over to this proposed land, is Universal could build a hotel in the area, helping really establish this area as its own unique experience, as well as making more revenue from those existing guests. While overall they do seem to be going towards this direction, depending on the success of several other current new offerings being built around the world, I think it will ultimately come down to that, and if they are successful, they will be built again, further increasing the return on investment, as well as increasing more revenue streams of Universal destinations and experiences. Regardless of what does eventually end up getting built, though, one thing that remains certain is Universal's presence to make sure that every experience is a magical one in all of their existing parks and resorts, to help inspire future generations of guests to go and explore and enjoy.